If I have multiple Cisco Catalyst switches in my environment and I'm interconnecting those switches, how is that going to work exactly if I have multiple VLANs? I mean, if I have 5 VLANs on this switch and I've got 5 VLANs on my neighboring switch, can I just take one wire and connect this switch to that neighboring switch? Because doesn't that one wire just belong to one VLAN? How does that work? Well, what we can do is we can train one of these switch ports to become a trunk port. A trunk is a port that can carry traffic for multiple VLANs. How do we tell the frames apart on that trunk? Well, it depends on the trunking technology that you use. We're going to mainly focus on the IEEE standard of 802.1q. With 802.1q, we're going to be tagging, we're going to be adding some bytes to the frames flowing over this trunk. And we're going to be altering bits inside of these tag bytes to say, you belong to this VLAN and you belong to this VLAN. And when the far end switch gets those tagged frames, it's going to be able to look and see that, oh, this is part of VLAN 100. This is part of VLAN 110. Oh, by the way, I should mention that if we're doing .1q trunking, there's a special VLAN. There's one VLAN that does not get tagged. It does not have any extra bytes added to it as it flows across this trunk. It's called the native VLAN. You might want to put that one in your notes. A native VLAN is a VLAN on a .1q trunk that is not tagged. And this means, if we think about it, the switches on each side of the trunk, they should agree on what the native VLAN is. I mean, if I have one switch and it thinks that the native VLAN is 100 and the neighboring switch thinks the native VLAN is 200, what would happen if I sent an untagged frame from this switch to the other? Well, my switch thinks that the native VLAN is 100, so it doesn't tag frames as part of VLAN 100. My neighboring switch gets it, and the neighboring switch says, here's an untagged frame. And according to my configuration, untagged frames or native VLAN frames, they're going to be part of VLAN 200. Wow, that could cause some confusion. That could cause things to break down. That could cause a security issue as well. So let's make sure that our switches agree on what we've designated as the native VLAN.